Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Truth. I'm your host, the one you love the most, Niall Heston, back with a brand new episode here on The Truth. Back once again with my brother Lucas. Lucas, how are you doing here today?
Good. It's pretty dead over here because there's a big bar crawl going on right now. I heard that 13,000 shirts were sold, so I don't know how they're going to fit everybody down there, but that's good.
You
Nice.
said it's a bar crawl?
Yeah. Do you know what that is? Are you familiar?
Actually not.
Oh, apparently, like, you get a shirt and, like, it has all the, like, an organization. So, like, this is Lime Leap, and since it's St. Patty's Day next week, or 2 weeks.
Oh
So,
yeah.
like, the back has all the bars on it, and so you check it off and you go there, and so pretty much it's going to be packed down there. So I don't know what's going on there, but great day outside. Twins just got a walk-off win, so it's great.
In spring training, I'm sure that's really fitting. But anyways, guys, today we are going to be going over, or starting to go over, the final three of our rankings. It is the shortstop show today, third baseman coming up, and then outfielders. So the final three for Fantasy Baseball Podcast, super exciting times. Again, if you guys are new to this series, we've gone over starting pitching, relief pitching, catchers, first baseman, and second baseman. As mentioned today, we're going to go over shortstops. We're going to give you guys our 10 top shortstops, and we're going to talk about three each to give you six total that we're going to end up talking about here today. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and read Lucas's shortstops, first of which is Bobby Witt, then Elly de la Cruz, 3 Gunnar Henderson, 4 Francisco Lindor, 5 Corey Seager, 6 Trey Turner, 7 O'Neill Cruz, 8 Willie Adames, 9 Bo Bichette, and 10 Ezekiel Tovar. For myself, I have Bobby Witt at 1, Elly De La Cruz at 2, Gunnar at 3, Trey Turner 4, Francisco Lindor 5, Bo Bichette 6, Corey Seager 7, Jeremy Pena 8, Zach Neto 9, and O'Neill Cruz 10. So I highlighted the number one guy, potentially number one guy in the entire fantasy. Go ahead and talk about your guy.
Yeah, number one guy for me is, I think, again, one of the best players in the majors. Probably going to be my number one pick, but I'm not sure yet. I got to do some research on that. It's Bobby Witt Jr. of Kansas City. He should have, well, not should have. He would have been MVP last year if Aaron Judge didn't exist, but he does. I mean, ridiculous numbers: 640 at bats, hit 332, 32 bombs, 109 RBIs, 31 steals. So he had a 30-30 season, and oh, he's only 24 years old. So he is in the prime of his career, and he's had really good seasons in his career. I mean, last year or the year before, he had 30 home runs, 40 steals. He had 20 home runs, 30 steals in his rookie year. Like, he is unbelievable. He gets on base at an extremely high clip. I don't even really care about the strikeout talk, but 106 to 57, he gets you that extra base power. He's a 290 career hitter, 340 on base, a career 850 OPS, and that'll do in 467 games in his career. Like, he has proven himself time and time again. The Royals lineup is always exciting, or I should say in the past couple of years, because they're making moves, they're signing free agents. Witt is just an all-around player. You're not sacrificing anything when you pick him. I mean, you're getting the power, you're getting the stolen base numbers, you're getting everything you could ask for from a guy, and that's why he's my clear-cut number one shortstop in a position that I think is really deep.
Yeah, I think shortstops in the past have kind of gotten a bad rap because I feel like shortstops are primarily a defensive position where you'd see a lot of like high-end gold glove winners. Not that they didn't have offense powers, but definitely I think a lot of other positions primarily were, power focus, driven runs, all that stuff. But the shortstop position has evolved, especially as of late, to really kind of step up to the plate and be a very effective position. As you mentioned with Bobby Witt, I mean, Bobby Witt is probably consensus number one amongst a lot of boards. He kind of reminds me of Ronald Acuna and the fact that he can just do everything. Back when Ronald Acuna was the number one, yeah, is he going to steal as many stolen bases as Acuna at like 70 some? Could potentially, but most likely not. But he's going to bat for a really high average. He's going to have tons of home runs, RBIs, and all that stuff, assuming he stays healthy. So he's my number one, as I mentioned as well. My second guy that I'm going to talk about, or the first guy I'm going to talk about, is my number two, and Elly De La Cruz, a guy that I haven't really talked about this year. Absolutely nuts. He's 23 years old, entering his third season now with Cincinnati, or in the major leagues, I should say. He made a lot of improvements, playing in 98 games the first year and then 160 last year. So he's a guy that's going to be on the field basically every game. Had a 259 average, which was better than 235. 25 home runs, which was better than 13, 76 RBIs, which was better than 44, and then 67 stolen bases, which was better than 35. And on top of that, he got caught stealing 16 times. So this dude was looking to steal 80 plus bags. And that's basically a full season of what you're going to get from Elly De La Cruz. He's going to get on base. It's going to continue to improve. And I really think he has the opportunity to be a tremendous star in this league. I have him as a dark horse NL MVP just because I think he can obviously win MVP, but I don't think a lot of people are necessarily giving him the credit that he deserves because he is so young. But going into this year, as far as draft boards are concerned, I think there's really a consensus top four. I think Elly De La Cruz kind of fits in that five spot. And if I'm sitting at that five spot right now, I'm super excited to get a guy like Elly De La Cruz. Is there going to be risk involved? Yes, he does strike out a lot, right? He strikes out more than once a game, but there's tremendous power that he has. He can showcase more of that power. That Reds lineup is improving, and he's shown better hitting statistics, which has been the biggest thing with Elly. So I'm super excited to see what Elly's going to do this year. And I think, like I said, he's a dark horse to win MVP, but I think he wins MVP sometime in the next 3 years just because of the stats that he's able to accumulate. And again, kind of be like a mini Ronald Acuna Jr. If he can get up to 30 plus home runs, 100 plus RBIs, and improve that batting average a little bit, this guy will potentially be MVP this season. All right, I also highlighted your number 7 guy. Go ahead and talk about him.
Yeah, my next guy is really exciting too, but kind of in a different way. He's Oneil Cruz in Pittsburgh. And he's a lot more of a risk than a guy like Bobby Witt Jr., in my opinion, because the thing about Cruz is he played 2 games in 2021, 87 in 2022. He played 9 games in 2023, about 150 last year. So he hasn't really proven himself in terms of him playing, but again, that's not necessarily his fault. It's just about staying on the field. But last year, he had a great season 34 doubles, 21 home runs, 76 RBIs. Again, does strike out an awful lot. 180 strikeouts last year. That's nothing you like to see. But he did have 22 stolen bases, so he's a sneaky stolen base guy. 259 average, 324 on base, 450 slug, and 770 OPS. Thing with him that a lot of people are excited about is just his bat speed and his power. I mean, he's kind of hitting the ball as hard as Giancarlo Stanton. Like, he's hitting balls a couple times 120 miles an hour. He's regularly hitting them at 115 miles an hour. He has that exit velocity. Another underrated thing is his positional flexibility. The Pirates moved him to center field a little bit last year, so I think in some leagues you'll get him at shortstop or outfield. So that's 4 positions, and in both those areas, he's a consensus top 8 guy. And I think he's just really exciting. But the question is, can he stay on the field? Can he play as well as he did last year? If he does that, I think he's a top shortstop in the game just with everything he has to offer.
For me, I'm going to go to my number 5 guy, and it's going to be Francisco Lindor. I feel like one of the more underrated players in entire fantasy baseball, or really just in baseball in general. Yes, obviously he's a stud, we know that, but I feel like he's not getting a lot of recognition that he deserves. Back-to-back seasons of 31 plus home runs, 91 plus RBIs. Last year, batted 273. Also picked up 29 stolen bases, 31 the year before that, age 29 and age 30 season in his 4th season there with New York. He's been on the field consistently the last 3 years, so everything that you asked for, I feel like Francisco Lindor has. Yes, he's going to be a high-end draft pick. I'm not saying that he's not, but he could honestly make an argument for being a top 5 pick in general, just based off his talent and the stats that he's been able to produce relatively throughout his entire career. An absolute stud for New York. New York obviously is going to spend a ton of money every year, so they're going to bring in the biggest, best bats, best arms. So there's a lot of opportunity for run producing, which is why he's been able to have so much success with that. But obviously, I think the biggest thing with him is, yeah, he's 31 now or 32, whatever it is. He's getting up there a little bit in age, but still got tons of juice left in those legs. Again, age 30 season was able to get 29 stolen bases. If I can get that out of Francisco Lindor, especially at this point in his career, I'm super excited about that. And again, we've seen the glimpses of him getting above 300 batting average, but consistently 270 to 285. So there's a lot of things to be excited about with Francisco Lindor. And I think the Mets are poised for another good season. I think Francisco Lindor is going to be a big part of that. And again, if you can draft Francisco Lindor, especially with some of these other top tier shortstops that are going to go early and often, I think Frankie Lindor can easily be a top 5, even pushing top 3 shortstop by the season's end. Okay, and the final guy that I highlighted is your number 10 guy.
Yeah, last guy for me, we talked about him a little bit. I kind of said he was a bust, but it was kind of hard to choose busts at the shortstop position. So this guy is really talented. I mean, Ezekiel Tovar in Colorado last year, almost 700 at bats, 45 doubles, 26 home runs, 78 RBIs. So you do have that Coors effect, but still, I mean, amazing numbers for a guy who's only been in the league for 2 full seasons. The big concern with me was his strikeout numbers. He struck out 200 times last year and 170 the year before. He'll get you maybe 10 stolen bases. But that was what was concerning for me in terms of when we talked about him on the podcast. However, I still think he is extremely exciting. He hit 270, 300 on base, 470 slug, which is pretty solid for a young guy, and 770 OPS, So he's a guy who's going to hit the ball a long ways. And again, that's kind of what you get with a Rocky. There's no reason for me to believe that he'll get traded. He did sign a big extension, I believe it was last year. So you don't have to worry about him leaving Coors. So he'll give you home runs, he'll give you doubles, he'll give you RBIs. But the question is, can the lineup around him get on base to do that? Similar to when we talk about guys for like the Marlins or Nationals or Angels. The player is good, but he can only hit RBIs or hit guys in if there's people getting on base. And that's the big question with Tovar. But I really like him. That's why I slotted him as my last guy in terms of the shortstop position.
For me, I'm going to talk about my number 7 guy, and it's going to be Corey Seager. Again, another one of those underrated players, I think, in fantasy baseball and just baseball in general. I mean, that Corey Seager, in his 3 years with Texas, has hit over 30 home runs, over 75 RBIs, and batted consistently anywhere from 270 to 320. And on top of that, the last 2 seasons, he's played in about 3/4 of the game. So he has missed some time due to injury, and the power numbers have still been there for Corey Seager. And they've been there with Corey Seager throughout the entire year and really his entire career with Texas and with the Dodgers. So there's a lot of things to be excited about with Corey Seager. I shifted him to my number 7 spot, as you mentioned, just because I feel like the shortstop depth is so relevant. There's so much depth there. And in any other position that you could slot Corey Seager in, he would be amongst some of the best. So I think age does play a factor a little bit. He is 30 years old, but he's shown tremendous success there with the Rangers. He's shown tremendous success with the Dodgers, but his better success has come with Texas. He's found a comfortable home there. I know it is kind of like a little bit of a hitter-friendly ballpark there in Texas, and I think that's been a big contributing factor to that, but he's going to continue to use that to his advantage. He's got some other guys in that lineup that have shown some power, shown some pops, so he's going to get those RBIs. He's going to score a lot of runs, and he's going to be a very viable player. And like I said, in 2023, when he batted 327, a lot of people were excited about that because he had that success. And I think he can go back to that level of success, hit above 300, continue to hit 30 plus home runs and 80, 90 plus RBIs, and be a very big contributing factor for your fantasy team this year. Well, thank you guys for listening to another episode here on The Truth. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure you follow The Truth on Twitter, The Truth as one, to stay up to date with the latest information regarding The Truth, including podcast dates, podcast uploads, and other important information you don't want to miss. Make sure you guys also follow The Truth on Instagram and TikTok at the.tt.truth. Are you looking to find a drink that offers peak hydration, raises your energy levels, speeds up your recovery, and keeps your mind sharp through focus and memory? Look no further than Acid Rainwater. I'm excited to partner with Bloodline Sports. AZ and Acid Rainwater focuses on peak hydration and productivity while also maintaining the ecosystem-friendly product. Use code HESSON15, that's HESSON 15 for 15% off every purchase. As always, I'm your host, the one you love the most, Niall Hesson, joined once again by my brother Lucas. Take care and good night.